Hi, welcome to my channel. This is Opal Unicorn, and I like to make videos about the messages from birds and omens, spiritual symbolism that specifically have to do with birds and other animals. I also do other types of videos. I do tarot cards and I am an artist. My name is Opal Unicorn Inc. As my business, and you can find me at opalunicorn.com or on Instagram at opal_unicorn. And today I would like to discuss a interesting topic, which is birds in dreams. And so there's a big difference between birds as omens when we see them through our lives on the earth plane, and when we dream with them and what those dreams mean. Sometimes they are connected, but they also have very specific meanings, and each bird can have a very definitive type of symbol. The more information you have in your dream, the more information you can have about the dreams. So I would like to introduce you to a very, very incredible book called How to Interpret Your Dreams and Discover Your Life Purpose, a complete dictionary by Michael Sheridan. I will put his link below. He also teaches dream classes, and this is not sponsored. I just have learned a lot and really appreciate his version of the definition of birds and other symbols in dreams. So today I would like to discuss a little bit about what those symbols mean in dreams, and we could do an overview video today, and we can dissect more interpretations of different types of birds, because he actually has a lot of really interesting definitions for certain particular birds. So I'm going to read a little bit from his bird definition in his dream book. So here is an excerpt from his book. Bird. Birds often symbolize goals or ideals, as they are something we usually have to look up to. This is true even if the bird in the dream is on the ground or dead. In mythology, an eagle is said to fly so high that it can see the past, present, and future from its high vantage point. Due to this, an eagle in a dream indicates that you have the gift of prophecy. High-flying birds indicate the same thing. An ostrich indicates there is something you are refusing to face. A dead bird, other than a crow or an other carrion bird, is a request to put life into the pursuit of your goals. Don't just sit and wait for them to come to you. You need to get off the ground. A chicken indicates your relationship, as chicken is often used as a term of endearment. A frozen chicken indicates that you are being cold in your relationship and need to be warmer toward your partner. A crow or other carrion bird, because they eat dead and rotting flesh, can represent cancer. Bear in mind that dreams warn of cancer, and many of times to do what it takes to prevent it from developing. So it may not necessarily be that you have cancer at all. It's just that certain ways of feeling and acting can then be warned in your subconscious, that when you dream of certain things, to be aware, because our subconscious is very intelligent and it uses a whole bunch of symbols all the time. A dead crow is a good symbol, and it indicates that your immune system has successfully fought off any cancer cells. A crow can also represent depression. In these dreams, the crow is more likely to be on its own and circling overhead, perhaps over the rooftop of a building. In this case, you often feel fear when facing the crow. The crow often appears alone, as that reflects how you are at present. A bird flying on one wing is a symbol for alcoholism due to the phrase, "a bird never flew on one wing." This is a common response when asked if you need another drink. This dream shows you a bird flying on one wing to encourage you to say no to the next drink. So that is an excerpt from this great book by Michael Sheridan, and I will put that in the link if anyone is interested to learn more about how birds have specific meanings and symbolisms in dreams, along with a whole bunch of other animals, which is quite fascinating because it is most definitely something that is different than when we are using and seeing them as omens as well. And I have a few really interesting books that I would like to discuss and talk about in some videos coming up. This one is The Mesopotamian Planetary Astronomy and Astrology by David Brown, cuneiform monographs. But they do have an excellent chapter in here, or little excerpt, about omens and what omens meant for the ancient Babylonians and ancient Mesopotamians, along with the Greeks, who also happened to have quite a lot of learning from the ancient Babylonians as well. So here is an excerpt from this book, and I will go into in depth because there's tons of omens that the ancient Babylonians used with many different birds, including our favorite bird, the owl, which we love to discuss here on this channel. But for today, I would like to read from this chapter, omens. Omens are attested in Mesopotamia from the beginning of the second millennium to the end of the first. Omens are known which concern the entrails of lambs and kids, the movement of smoke or of oil on water, malformed births, dreams, happenings in the town, fights of birds, visages, and many others. Flights of birds. So there we go. So here's a little tidbit of how the flights of birds since the ancient days have been something that have been used to learn more about omens and how they track and trace what may come. And there were special people who would interpret this and who had jobs doing this just from omens and reading about omens. Omens dealing with the phenomena of heavenly bodies, also known from the OB period until the end of cuneiform writing. They are made up of two parts, a protasis and a apodosis. If X, then Y. The protasis is usually introduced by if and described some celestial event. The apodosis gives the prognostication for the land, the economy, the king, or the people. In celestial divination, omens are not attested, which concerns individuals. This is in contrast to omens derived from other phenomena. As discussed in Chapter 1, celestial omena are special through dint of being visible to all and not being able to be discounted on the base of the impurity of the diviner. Usually the protasis is the preterite of a finite verb is being used, and the stative of a state of condition is met. Celestial omens are found in many tables. It is also apparent that both texts were used by many scholars. It does not include omens, but calculates the visibilities of the moon in a way comparable. The attested omens are listed. None are known to come from preceding the third or OAKK periods. It was believed that the gods sent messages announced future events. The messages, or signs as were called, could come from very different sources. One looked for them in everyday events like the behavior of animals, or in the entrails of sacrificed sheep, or in the sky. So the Babylonians were very interested in slaughtering special sheep and using those as divinations. But that was also a lot of information we have in the cuneiform tablets. But there was many, many more. I know it's kind of gross, but there were many more just by the movement of animals themselves, which is what I like to discuss and talk about on this channel. If events like the behavior of animals are watched, something remarkable an event occurred shortly after such a sign, people assumed a connection between them. The sign had been sent to announce the event that followed it. Whenever the sign occurred again, it was thought to predict the same event once more. As time went on, the signs and their consequences were collected and organized in a systemic fashion. And I would like to go into that in another video, just about how they documented these types of phenomena, and the many different types of patterns that birds and other animals were used just by what they were doing, just what they were happening to be doing at that moment of seeing them, that was an omen, and that was something that was to be seen in the future. Now, this is something that I like to call anecdotal information, because it may not be proven in today in the world of science. And there may not be many people who would consider this as something scientific. But back in the ancient days, people lived and died by these divinities, by these omens, and they worked with them and calculated it because they had so much documentation on these types of events and what it would mean. Now, in my channel, I like to specifically talk about birds, but every once in a while you will hear me talk about other animals, because there are many types of animals in the medicine animal world, which encompasses all of the native traditions that from far back go into how animals and what they are doing have a message, have a special medicine, have a special magical energetic vibration that aligns to whatever is happening to you at that moment, or what may be happening to you in the not so far away future. So that is part of the very interesting ways that we not only use omens and divinations, but also in specific, they also mention dreams. And as I mentioned earlier, how different birds have different meanings, I would like to go into a little bit of one of the many types of birds that were mentioned in the dream book I was discussing earlier in this video, being the eagle. So if you see an eagle in your dream, it doesn't always mean that you have the gift of prophecy, but many times it will. And that is something that would have to be dissected within the way of the dream. And this is by the teachings of Michael Sheridan, which I will drop into the description box in this video. But the interesting thing is that if you have a consistent bird that comes into your dreams, let's say it's a sparrow, that would have a different meaning. But let's talk about the eagle. In my medicine book, which we can see here, which I love, Medicine Animals book, when we discuss the bird, the eagle, you will notice that there is a very, very specific type of correlation with this particular book and the dream interpretation of Michael's symbolism in his definition in the term of eagle. So in my book, The Medicine Cards, not my book, but written by, I will put the author down below. Eagle means spirit. Eagle medicine is the power of the Great Spirit, the connection to the divine. It is the ability to live in the realm of spirit, yet remain connected and balanced within the realm of earth. Eagle soars and is quick to observe expansiveness within the overall pattern of life. Even from the heights of the clouds, eagle is close to the heavens where the Great Spirit dwells. The feathers of eagle are considered to be the most sacred of healing tools. They have been used for centuries by shamans to clear and cleanse the auras of patients coming to them for healing. If you have pulled this symbol, eagle is reminding you to take heart and gather your courage, for the universe is presenting you with an opportunity to soar above the mundane levels of your life. The power of recognizing this opportunity may come in the form of a spiritual test. In being astute, you may recognize the places within your soul, personality, emotions, or psyche that need bolstering or refinement. By looking at the overall tapestry, Eagle teaches you to broaden your sense of self beyond the horizon and what is presently visible. Now, that is very much, if you look at it, especially that last one, Eagle teaches you to broaden your sense of self beyond the horizon and what is presently visible. It is insinuating in this particular book and in these particular symbolisms of the natives that we are, in fact, connected when we see the eagle. That is why there is this great feeling when you see the eagle in the sky, or when you are meditating and he shows up, or when you are dreaming and he shows up. Because he means being able to see beyond the horizon. He means being able to see into the future. A lot of the times, and most likely, if you dream with eagle a lot in your daily life. So those are a few excerpts from a few books that I wanted to share with you. And I would love to hear more in the comment section if you have dreams that come true. And a lot of people have this gift. It is the gift when you dream something and shortly after, that thing that you dreamt comes true. And when you think about it this way, you can very much connect it to some of the books that I mentioned today and the book about dream interpretation, because when one is connected to the symbolisms of the animals, you will see that they will show repetitive patterns throughout your lives in many ways. And the ancients knew about this, and it was something that was used for thousands of years. So it is something that is still interesting and anecdotal in its scientific approach, even though it may not be scientific in terms of what we discern as science today. There is a lot of data collected throughout the thousands of years that show that there is a connection with animals, with birds, very specifically birds, being the fact that they are air elements, and elements from the air are connected to the element of communication, also aligned with Mercury, the god of messages and communication, writing, and speaking. And so for these reasons, that is why birds are called the messengers of the gods, because within these messages, through the air, carrying the element of Mercury, the planetary energetic alignment with the frequency of communication, we are getting messages from the other side, from the spiritual realm, and in the case of eagle, from divine information that allows us to see things from a place high up in the sky, very, very much close to what we may see as God and the higher realms. So that is my video for today. I hope you enjoyed this, and it's in some of my favorite books, and bringing history into this, because there are so many different cultures connected and aligned to some of these ancient philosophies and very interesting ways of looking at how birds and augury, which was a word used by the Romans to determine what things would come by the flight of birds. Thank you so much for tuning in, for watching my channel. I'm Opal Unicorn. Please check out my website, opalunicorn.com. I know it's backwards here, but maybe I can flip it over. I'm not sure. I have artwork that reflects my way of looking at the spirit world. I have written books, and I am very much interested in how it all connects together with astrology and with dreams and with animal medicine and with art and channeling all of this together. So if you would like to know more, please contact me, and I would love to hear from you. And also, if you have any dreams with birds, please put them in the comment section. Let's have some fun. I would love to hear from you, And I hope that you have a great day, and we'll talk to you soon.